Churchill Chronicles, Audiobook number 1, Churchill, Sold for Parts. Written by Hayden W. The manager had found a photo frame in his office before any of his engines had woken up. In the frame, it had an old black and white photo of one of his engines next to a man with a suit, monocle, and top hat with a flower on its band. It said on the photo that it was taken in 1894. The same year the engine in the photo was built. He knew in a few minutes that he had to wake his engines up, but he realized that he could show one of them the photo frame. He started to walk to the engine shed. It was a short walk since his office was quite near to the engine shed. He took one of his keys and put it in the lock that was hooked on the door. He turned it and opened the door and said, "Rise and shine, my engines." Wilfred replied with, very sleepily, "Sir, why did you wake us up so early?" The manager just showed them the photo. The engine on it was Rosalind herself. "Wow," said Churchill. "Is that really you?" Rosalind looked like she just had seen a ghost. She then replied with, "Sir, please burn that." Wilfred and Churchill were shocked. They were both replied with, "Why do you want him to burn it?" Rosalind just looked at the manager and said, "Sir, the man in the photo never told you what he had said when you purchased me from him." Churchill and Wilfred were even more shocked. They wanted to know very badly. Rosalind said, "Look, I will tell you guys, but work will start soon. I shall tell you after the work is done, and we are all at the sheds tonight. I will start my passenger train now. Bye." Rosalind started to approach the first station. When she buffered up to the coaches, and the passengers got in them, the guard blew his whistle, and Rosalind whistled back, and started moving. As for Churchill and Wilfred, Wilfred was waiting at the back of the shed, so he could do the second passenger run of the day, while also thinking of what Rosalind's backstory was. Churchill was getting his steam tender tested, and it worked perfectly. After Rosalind came back, Wilfred pulled his train. Churchill also pulled his train when Wilfred came back. Later, Churchill finished pulling his train. When he finished, he came back to the engine shed. As Churchill puffed into the shed next to Rosalind and Wilfred, the clock struck 12. Midnight arrived. Wilfred spoke up. "Say, Rosalind, could you tell us about the photo?" Rosalind just inhaled and said, "Okay." She started to tell the story. "In 1894, a man named Sir Arthur Haywood built me. At the time, I was called Rose. I was built alongside another engine who looked just like me and named Muriel. I was then bought by another person, the luxurious man in the photo. He owned the Stanfield Granite Mining Company before it got regauged into a 2'3" narrow gauge railway for that tramway called the Springford and the Stanfield Tramway, I think. Anyways, I was the first engine on the railway. As time went on, more engines, around 4 or 5, arrived. I started getting older, and the controller and the other engines gave me nicknames like Rust Bucket, Old Steamer, Useless, Piece of shit." Churchill interjected, "Okay, Rosalind, please continue the story." Rosalind continued, "Anyways, they kept telling me how much of a failure I was. When they moved me and my about 5 other colleagues to another area to work, an ammunition dump. I heard the controller on the phone. He was telling a scrap dealer." Rosalind hesitated for a moment. "He told them to scrap me so he could sell me for parts." Rosalind started to tear up. Churchill and Wilfred never heard an engine as tough as Rosalind cry before. "Hey, it's okay," said Churchill. "The manager still bought you here. You're safe here. We all are." And indeed they were. The 3 of them were all safe on their heritage railway, No one or nothing could hurt them. After hearing the story from his office, the manager took his lighter and burnt the photo to a crisp.